Hey guys, and welcome to an absolutely dreadful game of Total War Warhammer. I'm a Robert Duck of War, and today I'm going to be showcasing a pretty disgusting tactic implemented here by Praxter himself, leading the forces of the vampire counts. Pure evil, I tell you, up against my lovely full female fighting force. So we've gone for a full-on War Dancer, Blade Singer, Azrai Spear kind of battle line here. Should be some good fun. We've got triple War Dancers in the front line, backed up by a couple of units of Blade Singers, as well as a couple of units of War Dancers with Azrai Spears, one of which is the Loix Tricksters. Up in the skies, we have a Glade Lady on a Mighty Dragon, bringing all of the goodies today, and we have Ariel as well to top out our full female fighting force here, with a Glorious Wizard to boot, coming in the most expensive way physically possible. She has Tempest, Dwellers Below, as well as Soul Stealer, which is going a little bit ham with the spells, but hey, I was feeling adventurous and bringing all the items as well. So pretty fun and thematic build, but we're not really looking at my build today. We're not really looking at my opponent's build either. We're just looking at his Lord and Hero, and I'm waiting for you guys to start vomiting in your mouths. Actually, we'll get to them in just a little bit. We've got a lot of zombies in the front line, though they're not too important. Load of Skeleton Spearmen in the secondary line, though again, they are not too important. Load of Direwolves, some Blood Knights in the back, and double Terrorgeist in the skies, but none of this is important. What really is important is this right here. We have double Necromancer, as well as Helman Gorst here, enrolling in a dirty trio of corpse carts, and all of them are kitted out pretty much the same. I think Helman Gorst has one or two more spells, but all of them have the Forbidden Rod. If you go through here, they all indeed do have it, apart from, of course, Helman Gorst, you cannot get it, but instead he has the Liber Noctis, which is quite useful, and then all of them are coming in with the exact same spell of Gaze of Nagash. I'm sure you can see where this is going. 3 spellcasters, all with the exact same magic missile. Helman Gorst being able to multi-fire it because of the Liber Noctis, taking down that ability recharge rate. Him also gaining the power reserves and power recharge rates greatly improved and greatly increased, plus the Forbidden Rod, once again, greatly improving power recharge rates and greatly increasing power reserves. You can basically see how this battle is going to go, but just for also extra, I guess, context, Helman Gorst is kind of Invocation Heck, Awaken from the Grave, as well as the Magical Animus as well. But again, none of this is important whatsoever, because you're about to witness absolute glory. So one Gaze of Nagash is done at about 30 seconds. We then have a second Gaze of Nagash instantly following up at 32 seconds, and then straight after that you have yet another Gaze of Nagash going to be aiming our way, plus a load of Forbidden Rods have been popped. So that's 3 Gazes of Nagash in about 10 seconds there, maybe 15 seconds. You can pop 3 of the magic missiles in that short time. We were able to juke a few of them though. Glade Lady is popping forward, but then you get a 4th Gaze of Nagash just a couple of seconds later. It is disgusting the amount of magic missiles you can throw out with this little death blob. And look at this, Forbidden Rod, as well as the Liber Noctis here. Their magic is just coming straight back to their grubby little undead hands, so they can continue to pop those spells. Now, I did slowly advance my force. I realized my opponent was simply going to sit here and just pop magic missiles at me all day, so I thought I would play that game. We're going to bring in the Glade Lady here to try to see if we can counter that with our long-range bow and hopefully juke some of the gazes, although this one we take straight to the chest like an absolute dragon champ, knowing that, of course, I do have that big heal in the back. And yeah, again, we get yet another Gaze of Nagash, simply pop off straight away. We do try to juke, and this time it does sail over top of our heads, and we are able to actually trade relatively effectively here, if you consider all the magic missiles which have been popped. Once again, though, I'm going to be trying to dodge this shot, but my guy was moving forward for a breath attack, so unfortunately, he takes it straight on the chin like a champion, and a big old fat breath attack does come down to Helman Gorst. Both of us down to about half HP. It certainly has gone better for my opponent, but likewise, he has had to use up an insane amount of magic to actually make this work here. We are turning and scooting our boot and shooting where possible. Big fat breath attack does catch us though as we attempt to dodge, and the second one is also going to follow suit, though this one does a little bit less damage. But look at the beating our Glade Lady has taken at the moment. I'm trying to flee back to Ariel so we can try to heal up and then actually get the fight hopefully underway. But yet another Gaze of Nagash does come in. We attempt to juke, but unfortunately the dragon is too slumberous and slow and just gets clipped in the back despite it kind of moving out of the position there, and I'm bouncing back and forth. We are getting a berry wine on it though. That is 1,344 extra HP, but we do not have Apotheosis today because I brought Soul Stealer instead, so we have no more healing on our Lord, which is pretty problematic. We are going to be kiting back against the Terrorgeist, so there's absolutely nothing the Terrorgeist can do about this. They are slower. Our beautiful Glade Lady should be able to outpace them, and at this point I was pretty bored. I was like, alright, we're just magic missiling each other all day, and I'm just Glade Lady in it all day, so I am actually going to start advancing my army and just getting to actually have a bit of a fun fight, hopefully. Terrorgeist does eat the Tempest there rather nastily. Negative 60% speed is really quite rough on both these bad boys, but continue to poke here with our Glade Lady where possible as these Terror guys do attempt to flee. Though we're getting some pretty nice damage done on them. The Overcast is pretty powerful, but doing a lot less damage than I would expect it to do. The Glade Lady, of course, is racking up some damage with her long-range shots here, and one Terrorgeist is moving forward to pursue her. Now, the Wood Elves getting nice and aggressive now, going to start walking forward, mainly using the trees as well for a bit of cover, just in case we get smacked by another 5,000 gazes of Nagash. Helmut also does look like he's healed a little bit. He, of course, with the corpse cuts and so forth, he is actually going to be regenerating, or maybe just he himself has regeneration, I think. So he's going to be healing up quite nicely here. We do drop a cheeky net down on the Terrorgeist with a prey, and then turn to do a second big fat juicy breath attack at it, and we connect okay, not fantastic to be honest, and quite a lot of that breath actually just goes into the void of nothingness, but the Glade Lady can now once again whip out a bow and start shooting. So we've done some pretty decent damage to the Terrorgeist. We should carve through the Skeleton Warriors relatively quickly, at least you would hope, but once again those Forbidden Rods are being rubbed by the Necromancers, and the Liber Noctis going down on Helmengorst once again. These guys shall be able to support relatively decently as well in the front line of the zombies. War Dancers charge forwards, doing some roly-polies, slicing and dicing their way through the zombies, trying their little heart out to carve through the enemy as quickly as possible. Blade Singers will be popping into the Whirling Death as well, realizing not too much of my opponents actually have armor right now, so we're looking just to carve them to pieces. My opponent going to be playing a slow game here, moving in the zombies, keeping everything in reserve, and then when the zombies start to teeter, we'll move the rest in there as well. We do get Overcast Tempest once again, trying to catch out the Terror guys here. It should still do damage, despite the fact they are on the ground. And look, another Gaze in the Gash does hit the Glade Lady. Once again, we attempt to juke, but the Dragon's just a really slow beast, to be honest, to turn in, and is taking quite big damage. However, the Blade Singers are starting to just destroy the zombies in the front, which is quite nice, and try to get to grips with these Necromancers. Blade Singers as well, trying to focus down Helmengorst. We're even going to be coming in with a rather nasty Soul Stealer. Ariel's taking quite a bit of damage, but in comes the Soul Stealer, counteracted well by a well-placed Invocation of Nehek, trying to drag them down. Obviously, in the distance, War Dancers will just kill zombies for free. Had some War Dancers on this side kill as well. I'm kind of keeping the War Dancers back a little bit, waiting to try to capture a Terrorgeist if at all possible. Arrows of Colonels does manage to clip the Terrorgeist. Glade Lady trying to stay well away from this fight. Big Breath Attack does come on Ariel, but unfortunately for my opponent, it does whiff. And now Helmengorst is completely surrounded and taking an absolute beating. He is getting slaughtered in this middle fight. He's going to slowly trog his way to freedom, though. Terrorgeist do come in for an assassination attempt on Ariel. More War Dancers will be coming in, as well as War Dancers with Azrai Spears. I really just want to kill Gorst at this point. I'm like, please, for the love of Gorst, die. And now my opponent is me whirling in his reserves. They weren't really needed, and he's kind of waiting on this other unit as well, just slowly trying to time it so he can kind of make this battle last as long as possible, and obviously drain all the HP off of my troops there. Terrorgeist are taking quite a pounding now. You can see this one has been pinned in place, but Ariel is most likely going to go down. She is relatively, very much a meme pick now. It's kind of sad to see. She used to be a must-have pick and was very overpowered, and now I don't think I've seen her in a my player game in at least about 100 games that I've cast, so good to see her at least in action and playing a little bit here. War Dancers are trying their best to drag down the Terrorgeist as well as Helmengorst. He does not like death, however, which I understand. I respect that as a man there. Helmengorst doesn't want to go down, and we're trying to surround him with all our War Dancers where possible. War Dancers as well going to be getting in here and cutting their way through Skeleton Warriors, who honestly shouldn't cause them too many problems. We are trying our best to carve them at two pieces where possible. Helmengorst is surrounded by War Dancers, Blade Singers, and Azrai Spears, so they don't seem to be doing that much damage to him. He is still clinging on to life. Liber Noctis once again is going to go down. He has reached his healing cap. He is about to die as well. The Glade Lady, though, has taken massive damage and is going to be falling back, and now all my other opponent's elements do start to activate. Armilos is really close to us, which is kind of a disaster because we actually have full health units of War Dancers. Blade Singers still very healthy, as well as War Dancers who can easily kill Skeleton Warriors and Direwolves, though of course the Blood Knights shall be a problem. Terrorgeists are pretty beat up, and if we can catch them with our spears, we shall be victorious, but it does not matter because Armilos absolutely despises us, and down we go to a valiant defeat, which, you know, does feel a little bit bad. I was like, what? Why is like getting Armilos? 3/4 of my army's still alive and killing, and we had just about killed Helmengorst as well, but I think because my Glade Lady had gone down and the Terrorgeist was still around, it did see no way out for me, which is honestly, I don't know, I felt a little bit surprised. Not sure how you guys felt about that. Well played the Proxer, though. I must admit his build did make me want to vomit a little bit, but this is kind of the kind of stuff you're going to be running into now, I'm sure, on quick battles when people see this. The triple Necromancer, one of which is Helmengorst. You can pop 4 gazes in the gash in like 30 seconds. It is absolutely insane and very, very disgusting. Now, I played this game for quite some time, so I don't get too disheartened when I run into something like this on quick battles. I'm like, oh, okay, it is what it is, and I move on to the next one. But I do understand a lot of new players coming in, you will run into stuff like this, I must warn you, you have to try just to let it roll like, you know, like water off the back of a duck or whatever. And let it roll off your back, because you will come up to stuff like this. But I'm going to be doing a video anyway on quick battles and the current multiplayer scene in the not too distant future. My opinions on it in general, what can be improved for Warhammer 3, what we can do till then, and is it going to survive, basically, and all that good juicy stuff. But once again, well played to Progster, nonetheless, just slow balling in his troops. Man, my vampire count hate, which is already well known, has just doubled here. 1.7k and 1.8 on the Terrorgeist. The rest of the build not doing too much, but I didn't really need to. A lot of the skeleton warriors and zombies did engage in hand-to-hand combat, but unfortunately for them, they obviously got absolutely butchered. Necromancers 1.3 and 938k on them, 2.8k on Helm and Gorse. Now against an actual serious Wood Elf build, I don't think this would be that competitive. Although it can be rather nasty if you've brought like a Dragon Lord or something, because the Dragon Lord's just going to die unless you keep way out of the way. From like all the magic missiles and so forth. But if you go for like more of a traditional Wood Elf approach, I think you can kind of quite comfortably deal with this. Particularly if you had, like, imagine if you had 3 Way Watchers. This build can't really handle it, unfortunately. You would just take down the Necromancers as well as Helm and Gorse. But hey, that is the luck of the role. We went for the full female fighting force. Unfortunately, they're going to have to go home and replan where possible. Lurks Tricksters, though, did get 2,092 damage value, which is absolutely lovely. 1,000 on the Blade Singers, and once again, 606 on the other, though they got 112 and 101 kills. Both being at over half HP at the end as well hurts really bad, because they could have well started to push up towards the 200 kill mark by the end of the battle. The other Azrai Spears were basically full health, only 267 damage value on them. They weren't really able to get into the fight quick enough. War Dancers, really bad value across the board, mid-hundreds, but the kills 146, 57, 135, clearing the path through the zombies, but alas, not quick enough. 1.9k damage value on Ariel, and 3,302 damage value on the Glade Lady, getting 12k damage dealt. Doing some really good work, despite the fact she was getting hounded and harassed the entire game by those Terrorgeists and the magic missiles. One healing spell, and oh, the game could have been so different. I almost took Apotheosis as well instead of Dwellers Below, but I was like, no, for the memes, we're bringing a fun build. I want to bring that Dwellers as well and get those big, fat, juicy hits in on Nasty Graveguard and Blood Knights, but there wasn't really any good targets for in the end. One Apotheosis, and I think we would have been absolutely fine healing up the Glade Lady, but it was, alas, not enough. But I thought I'd still show you guys this relatively fun or interesting game, I should say. And until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.